I said last year that 2022 was the best year of new game releases since 2017, and yeah, this year was even better, honestly. Before I started to prepare for this video, I didn't think I'd played as many games as I usually do because of the sheer amount of massive lengthy games that released, but I quickly realised that I did in fact play a ton of them, in a huge variety of genres. Just like last year, this video will be focused on my favourite games I played this year, including older releases, but it will be focused primarily on games that released in 2023. The games that also in no particular order, with the exception of the final 5, which all must have released this year. Kirby's return to Dreamland Deluxe was such a wonderfully cozy remake of a Wii game that made me fall in love with the classic Kirby formula all over again. The art style is gorgeous, it's colourful and not very challenging, and it's perfect for a chilled out weekend with tea, blankets and snacks. Also, it's become a tradition at this point to start these videos with Kirby. Cavern of Dreams was a lovely surprise. Anything with a cute animal will get me invested. I played the demo last year and fell in love with this cute little dragon and the level design that prods your imagination and encourages creativity without feeling overwhelming. The full game lived up to these expectations and more. I had such a great time with this. Xenoblade Chronicles 3 came out last year, but I only got a chance to play it at the start of this year, and I loved it so much. The gameplay is unique whilst also staying true to the series' roots. The story was beautifully told with loads of cinematic cutscenes, and manages to walk the line between serious heartfelt storytelling and goofy anime writing. The voice acting is also a huge highlight. I always love to see JRPGs with English voice acting outside of America. The DLC, Future Redeemed, did release this year, and I actually enjoyed it even more than the base game, to be honest. It's an absolute treat if you've played all of the previous games with some really cool new characters and voice actors, and it's a must play if you played the rest of the series. Moonstone Island was such an unexpected delight. I'm not super into farming games, but this game managed to blend exploration, dungeon crawling, creature collecting, relationship building and farming into a really engrossing experience. Highly recommended if you're into any of these genres. Resident Evil 4 Remake was so good. I'd never actually played the original all the way through before playing this remake, but I loved everything it did so much. The blend of oppressive atmosphere, fun exploration, puzzle solving and survival horror is so beautifully crafted, all while maintaining the original game's silliness, make for a truly great modern survival horror experience. Wildfrost's art style absolutely carries it forward, but the gameplay is also really fun and unique. A very creative and addictive card-based roguelike that drew me in with the art and kept me engaged throughout. The Last Faith was an incredible surprise. It draws influences from Dark Souls, Castlevania and Blasphemous, and adds many of its own unique elements to stand out from its inspirations. I did not expect to enjoy this game as much as I did. Definitely play this if you're into metroidvanias and Souls-likes. Super Mario Bros. Wonder feels so different to what 2D Mario has been for a long time. The levels are creative, full of unique ideas and gameplay mechanics that are constantly being thrown at you throughout the entire runtime. It feels like the ideas of 3D Mario in a 2D plane, and that is the biggest compliment I could possibly give. I played Fae Farm with my partner, and while I don't play a ton of farming or life sim games, this was a really fun cooperative experience. It's not couch co-op unfortunately, but most of the resources in your town are shared, and it creates a really nice cooperative feel, having to balance out tasks between players. It kinda reminded me of playing couch co-op in Animal Crossing, to be honest. I don't think I would have enjoyed it as much if I played it alone, but if you're looking for a fun co-op farming game, this is a really nice one. I love rhythm games. Rhythm Sprout was amazing, complete with its own great original music, responsive gameplay and satisfying button pressing. It's also easy to comprehend but extremely brutal if you're looking for a challenge. Some of those later challenges are crushing in the best possible way. Pseudoregalia very nearly made my top 5. This game was phenomenal. I made a video on this game earlier in the year, so check that out if it looks interesting. It's basically one of the best 3D Metroidvanias I've ever played. It's not very long, but the impression it had on me in those 5 hours was immense. It's such a well-designed world that feels amazing to mentally map out and uncover its secrets. Final Fantasy XVI had one of the best opening hours of any game I've ever played. It felt like being transported into a medieval fantasy epic with some fantastic voice acting and cutscene direction. I did enjoy the game a lot. but it is a shame that the rest of the game never really reached the highs of the first few hours. The music was really good though, and some of the final boss fights were absolutely legendary. Donut County was such a strangely relaxing experience. Guiding an ever-growing hole in the ground to swallow up everything on the screen was really fun. It's also got a nice wholesome story too, which I really appreciated. It's a great game to sit back and chill out with. I actually played Monument Valley for the first time this year, and I loved how creative and unique this puzzle game was. If you like initially simple but ever-expanding puzzle games that really make you think, Monument Valley is an easy recommendation. Metroid Prime Remastered really pushed the limits of what a remaster can be. I played Metroid Prime all the way through for the first time in this remaster, and the controls make it a much more pleasant experience than both the original and the Wii version in my opinion. It looks beautiful, it's really fun, and it's a true classic. I discussed this one in a video earlier this year along with my opinions on backtracking in games at large. Mail Time was such a cozy experience, just look at the visuals here. It's a nice comfy hug of a video game and should be enjoyed alongside a warm mug of tea or hot chocolate. A really cute 3D platformer where you talk to townspeople and deliver them things. Pullblox has been on my backlog for years, and I finally played it this year. I can see why so many people love this absolute gem, and it's a nice way to relax whilst also being engaging and testing your brain. The 3DS eShop is closed now though, so it's not available to purchase anymore unfortunately. Nintendo, please port this to Switch. Koa and the Five Pirates of Mara was an amazing 3D platformer that controls really nicely and has some really cool level design and ideas. The structure is similar to Super Mario 3D World, with small levels and collectibles in each level. If you like 3D platformers, definitely give this a go. Spider-Man 2 was another one that very nearly made my top 5, and honestly I'm still kinda sad it didn't. I love this game so much. The voice acting, cutscenes and story progression were all incredible, and the game itself is also really immersive and fun. Easily my favourite of the 3 Spider-Man games so far. I was anticipating Loddlenaut for so long. Just look at how cute this looks. The art style and simple premise of cleaning up the ocean and making friends with cute creatures sounds totally like my thing, and I'm so glad that the game lived up to my expectations. It's super cozy whilst also being engaging and satisfying. I loved it. I've never really given myself a chance to get into the Fire Emblem series, but I played Fire Emblem 7 The Blazing Blade recently and I absolutely fell in love. I adored everything about this game, from the gorgeous sprite work to the surprisingly complex and in-depth strategic gameplay. I'm totally on board with Fire Emblem now and I can't wait to experience the rest of what the series has to offer. I love WarioWare, and WarioWare Move It was another great entry in the series. It uses the Switch Joy-Cons in such creative ways, and it's so much fun to find out what the game is going to throw at you next. Seeing how far you can go without losing is as fun as ever too. Lords of the Fallen really took me by surprise. I did not expect this Souls-like to be as good as it was. The level design was amazing, the exploration of each area was definitely my favourite part of the game. There were so many secrets to discover and cool weapons to find. Highly recommended if you like Dark Souls. The only complaint I had is that the final area was just not very good, which is a shame because the rest of the game was superb. Okay, we're on to the top 5 now. These are all released this year and will be in order, ending with my favourite game of the year. Paranormasight: The 7 Mysteries of Honjo was a true surprise this year. I wasn't sure if it would make it into the top 5 originally, but after thinking about it for a while, it absolutely deserves to be here. One of the most unique and creative visual novels I've ever experienced, and it's a story that can only really be told in this medium, which is something my favourite visual novels do. It's a horror mystery, and while parts of it are pretty terrifying, it's more focused on the actual mystery aspect surrounding various characters and ghost stories. The puzzles are so well done, and if you enjoy visual novels or unique storytelling, you need to play this absolute gem. I've never really managed to get into Pikmin games before, but Pikmin 4 totally changed that. Somehow the shift in perspective from top down to closer to the character makes such a difference and really made me more invested in the world and the puzzles. It's convinced me to go back and play the other 3 Pikmin games because I enjoyed this one so much, and I feel like it truly is a great way to get into the series if you've never played any of them before. I was not expecting Blasphemous 2 to become one of the best games I played this year when I started playing it, but wow, this game was incredible. Easily the best Metroidvania I played this year, and among the best in the genre that I've ever played. It stands up there with Hollow Knight and Ori for me. It evolves everything that made the original game great and elevates it to another level. The world design is impeccable with so many secrets and things to discover. If you're into Metroidvanias and haven't played this yet, please do. Okay, we all knew this was coming at some point. The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom is a literal miracle of a video game, and I'm still shocked at how it even exists every time I boot it up. The amount of ideas, creativity and polish that went into this game is beyond cognition, and it truly does deserve all of the praise it's been getting. Some of the best moments I've ever experienced in video games come from experimenting and exploring this world, along with discovering completely unexpected surprises and secrets. You've more than likely already heard how great this game is, and I think everyone would enjoy this game, regardless of their genre preferences. Sea of Stars was without a doubt my personal favourite game I played in 2023. I do think that Zelda is objectively deserving of the top spot, but Sea of Stars just made me so happy that I have to place it as my favourite game this year. Sublime pixel art, wonderfully cozy and engaging story, fun exploration and turn-based battle system, and the phenomenal music all come together to make for a game that made me smile constantly throughout the 65 hours it took me to 100% the game. And honestly, that is the biggest praise I can possibly give to a game. Sea of Stars brought me so much joy, and I truly envy you if you've not played this game yet. You are in for a real treat. I think everyone that enjoys video games would enjoy Sea of Stars. I highly encourage you to play this one if you haven't already. That concludes all of my favourite games I played this year. I can't play everything, so these are just my favourites out of the games I did actually play, so your favourites will of course differ. Please do let me know your favourite games of the year in the comments and whether they line up with mine or not. Thank you so much for watching, I appreciate all of you watching this. If you did enjoy this, please do give it a like and most importantly subscribe. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and I'll see you all soon.